What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sehatha, the Blind Seer, all-purpose oracle, medium at large, and prognosticator extraordinaire. Here to break you off today another round of my random readings series. You guys really seem to like this, and I really have a lot of fun doing these. It was an original idea I hadn't seen anyone else doing, and it combines, the tarot and the numerology, and it gets a chance to get a little more personal with everybody, and I really enjoy it, and I'm glad that you guys too. I'm glad that you guys do too, because this is probably the most fun that I have all week, and I'm working my way up to trying to do maybe a live version of this. Hit the like button, drop me a comment, let me know if you guys think that a live version of this would be a good idea, and what day maybe you guys think would be a good one for that. I'm willing to work around the majority of the audience's schedule. Whatever day of the week you feel like you could tune in is the day that I want to do it, if I'm going to do it. So I want to start off and say thank you so much for all the love that you guys give me. You are incredible. It is so cool that this is what I do for a living, and you guys are entirely the reason that that's possible. I've gotten so many requests for readings to this week. I've gotten donations from all over the world. I've gotten so much love on all of my social media accounts, and it is the most incredible thing. The fact that I can make a living with the magic that I've learned over the years and support my family with that is probably the most incredible thing that's ever happened in my life, and I cannot thank you guys enough for making that possible. This is something I've worked my entire life towards, and it really means the world to me. I put my entire heart into it, and the engagement and the love and the money and everything that you guys give back to me for that is just incredible. Thank you so much for that and for making all of this possible, because without you guys I'd have to get a real job, and that would suck for all of us. So we're going to shuffle first, and if you have anything on your mind, anything that you want to maybe get a little information about, be thinking about it while I shuffle. Try to focus really hard and put your energy out there, and maybe the cards will pick up on that, and we'll be able to get really specific for some people that need it. Do these to be helpful. Try to give as much of the stuff away as I can. So if you have something on your mind and you feel like you do need a little clarification on it, this would be the time to sort of focus on that and try to get it done. Like I've said many times, a lot of my stuff is based on quantum mechanics and quantum reality tunneling, and it's all about the way consciousness creates our experience of reality, and the connection between consciousness is the basis for all of that. So this is a time when our consciousness is connected, and you can get your energy into these cards whenever I'm doing this, especially while they're randomized and they're more susceptible to that. It's that liminal space that I talk about all the time, and the transitional in-between phases in life are the most powerful, and the places where the most energy can come in. Some old school pagan rules. It's like Norse fairy magic stuff. It's Gunungagap, the in-between, the edges of the world, the boundaries beyond what is known and what is unknown, and that's where all of magic comes from, and where all of the power and the energy for everything that we do with our consciousness comes from. It's the void between the worlds and spaces outside of any defined reality. Non-Euclidean space that people like Lovecraft and that sort of thing are always going on about, where the most awe and wonder and magic and horror and everything imaginable originates. Alright, so we got our two halves here. We got the deck randomized, polarized, and divided. And now, just like all things in quantum reality tunneling, it begins with the process of decision, making a choice. And we're going to let the universe do this one with our pendulum and let it make the choice for us. And what we want is whatever reading will be the most beneficial for everyone in the audience, everyone in their lives, and anyone watching and anyone involved. Right to the left. It jumped over. It actually touched the cards that time. So a lot of energy in this video, I can already tell. Sorry guys, my allergies are killing me today. I've had some issues with my contacts, so it's making my nose a little runny. I don't mean to be all like sniffing in your ears the whole time we're doing this. I will try to keep that to a minimum. Let's find out who we're doing this reading for. If you really, like I said, if you got something in your mind, it's these randomized times like this, these liminal spaces and in-between moments, like when I'm rolling the dice or when I'm shuffling the cards, where you have the opportunity to get your energy into the reading and maybe get a personal message for you. So try to focus on that, and it's a good way to develop your mental and psychic abilities as well, so that I'm not just the only one that has all this power. I'm kind of sharing it with you guys a little bit. 7. So if you strongly vibe with the number 7, 7 represents the 7th sphere, Netzach, on the Tree of Life in the Kabbalah, and that's the sphere of mental energy and of the thoughts, and the area where the things and activity that occur in our brains and in our mental self occur in energetic reality. And on that level, it's the vibrational frequency range of all thought and mental energy and all constructs of thought and imagination. So, it represents things like anxiety, worries, doubts, concerns, just something that's been on your mind a lot, and you might start seeing the number 7 everywhere, kind of telling you to pay attention to those nagging thoughts. But also, in this instance, if you have the initials G, P, or Y, you come up in every one of these videos, by the way. If you strongly resonate with the number 7, you've been seeing it everywhere, or you have the initials G, P, or Y anywhere in your name, or anyone in your life has those initials, this could potentially be for you or about them or whatever. I'm just trying to help whoever these make their way to. So we have the 5 of Cups inverted, having some joy, some happy feelings. I don't get to talk about stuff like that so much, so I'm really glad when things like that come up. It's sort of the opposite of what 5s usually represent, which is like conflict or argument or just disagreement, and this is that inverted. So this would be like fulfilling emotions, feeling connections with other people, vibing with your partner or your friends or your family, feelings of joy and fulfillment in partnerships and commitments and relationships and that sort of thing. The Magician inverted. What makes these feelings that you're going through especially rewarding, and this may be something that you haven't taken the time to appreciate yet, is that this came without coercion. The Magician inverted, it's like a lack of manipulation. It's no subterfuge, no coercion, no control. But in this case, that's a positive thing, when usually it means that you are out of control of a situation or of an energy in your life. This instance, it sort of means that whatever these feelings are coming from, it's something that came without you having to ask for it. You didn't have to try to get this fulfillment. It's given freely, which is probably like the most rewarding thing in that sort of energetic realm. And when love comes without any sacrifice or without any price, it's like when a little baby, like a toddler or a little kid, is happy to see you. That's the best feeling ever, and we can all agree on that. So when love comes without you having to give anything for it, it's one of the most rewarding things in life, and that's sort of what this energy is talking about here. And next you have the 3 of Cups, which is emotional growth. So this feeling of love and fulfillment that you have, this is sort of going to be your baseline from now, and it's important to take the appreciation and give that the respect that it deserves. Even though nothing is asked in return for this outpouring of love and good feelings and good vibes and everything, treat it with respect. Be considerate of it. Try to anticipate what you can do, even if nothing is asked. Still, what you can do in return for that to show that you reciprocate those feelings. That's the important thing about this kind of energy, and it needs to be reciprocal. It needs to breathe in and out. It has to go back and forth. It's not something that should ever be one-sided, because then it just gets used up. And this is sort of like an exponential fractal type of thing, where the more you spread it around, the more of it there is for everybody. And so this is going to be a path of emotional growth for you, G, P, or Y. It's going to teach you a lot about appreciating others and their needs and the nuances of emotional connection and relationships in general, and of there's just a lot of lessons here, like communication, greater depth and emotional intelligence, empathy. I cannot stress that enough. That's a thing that we're not taught nearly enough in the modern world, is empathy. It's a really important thing, and it's something I struggle with a lot, especially doing this and trying to help other people. So if you've been seeing the number 7 a lot, G, P, or Y is in your name, and you're having a lot of really good feels right now, try to make the effort to show that's appreciated, and give as much back to the source of it as you can, like I do to you guys with these videos and with my posts and with everything that I try to do online and give away for free, and try to help as much as I can. Be reciprocal about those good energies, because there's not enough of that in the world. It really, really needs to be spread around more. So I think that's all I can do with 3 cards for this one. I'm so happy that I get to give good advice and talk about some like happy, like not heavy, light emotions that make people feel good. That doesn't come up a lot in this line of work, as you can imagine. I'm usually in just helping people with pain and trauma and bad feelings and messed up situations. So I really like the good, happy readings. We'll do dice again. If you haven't come up yet, I'll do a general reading at the end for everybody. I'm going to try, like I've said this a few times, I try to make the habit of that so that I don't leave anybody out in these. But if you have something going on in your mind, your initials, think about that really hard. If there's a number you've been seeing a lot, you want some clarity on, try to concentrate on that that's why I do this thing with my hands and the dice, to give you guys a few minutes to set something in your mind and project it. And here we go. 3. It took me a second to try to see if that was a 3 or an 8. My contacts keep me from bumping into stuff and knocking things over, but they make it kind of hard to read. So if you really strongly resonate with the number 3, as I said in one of the previous videos, that represents the 3rd sphere on the Tree of Life, which is emotional growth, or well, nurturing physical growth, lessons, maturity, sort of the feminine aspect energy of the spectrum, and things that have to do with that, and intuition and emotional lessons and greater depth and maturity. It's sort of anything that you can think of along those lines. It's sort of governed by that energy. So that's probably something, if you're seeing the number 3 a lot, that is prominent in your life right now, energetically speaking. Or if you have the initials C, L, or U. So this is for the number 3. Anyone who resonates with that, or anyone with the letters C, L, or U in their name, or in the name of someone in their lives, or around them, or just whatever. Whoever this is meant to help, hopefully it finds them. So 3, C, L, or U. The Tower inverted. Things are going well for you. You have avoided catastrophe, or there's maybe even narrowly avoided something actually bad that almost happened. Or you're just, having a period of prolonged prosperity. You haven't had any real struggles or difficulties for a while, and that's awesome. Congratulations. The 6 of Wands. This stability has got you feeling inspired. You feel like maybe it's okay to dream again. You've got some ideas coming up, some things maybe you want to put your energy into, and that's really, really cool. That's the great thing about having that kind of stability. Like, I wouldn't be able to do what I do on here if I hadn't spent like years and years working my way up to having the kind of stability that allows me to do this sort of thing. I was homeless for a long time, bouncing around from like couch to couch, or spare rooms at people's houses or whatever, and I spent a long time working my way up to having my own place and building up a life for myself, and that's what allows me to be able to do this, so that I can help all of you guys. So that stability is something that's really, really important, and it's really hard to acquire and maintain for a lot of people. And whenever you get that, it's kind of scary because you don't know if it's going to go away again sometimes, and that it takes a while for you to get accustomed to that and really get the confidence to start thinking about what could I do instead of what do I have to do to get by. So that seems to be what this is about, where you're at right now. CLU, or the number 3, that you've gotten to a place in your life where you feel like you have the room to expand and maybe do a little more. So the 2 of Swords, that usually represents like confusion or indecision. Maybe you don't feel like you know what you want to do, especially if I'm right about what these are implying. That kind of situation where you've spent so much time just doing what you have to survive, when you finally get the freedom to be able to do whatever you want to do, you don't know what the hell you want to do. When have you ever had time to think about what you want to do, you know? So that's usually it's a period of confusion for a lot of people, and it's a really unique kind of problem that doesn't get talked about a lot. That when you've done without stability in your life for a long time, and then you finally do acquire it, you don't know what the hell to do with it. You're just trying not to lose it, and that's your primary concern. So whenever you finally do have that weight lifted off and you feel like things are going to continue and it's going to be okay, you don't know what to do with yourself, and that's perfectly natural. And I go on and on about lessons on emotional growth and depth, and becoming more emotionally intelligent and self-aware. And this, I know I sound like a broken record a lot of times. I'm working with a closed data set here, so I am going to get some repeating messages, but this is a general tone that comes up in life for a lot of people that we don't really get a lot of guidance on. That it's okay to be confused, and the only way to really deal with that and to resolve it is to experience it and then live through it and learn from it and listen to yourself and your reactions to things and decide how you feel about the things based on that. It's not something that's just going to happen on its own. It's going to require a little bit of effort and feeling and engagement on your part. So, listen to yourself. Try things. Don't be afraid to suck at something. Sucking at something is the first step to being good at something. So try new things. See how they feel. Try things that used to interest you that you stopped doing along the way. You never know what it's going to be that's going to really spark that fire in you. And you're at a point right now where you have the freedom to explore that. And that is one of the greatest freedoms that we'll ever get in life. To figure out what is our thing. And, everybody has their thing. Like, my thing is fortune telling and tarot and occultism. I have a lot of things because I've had nothing but a life of free time and poverty to study and fill with experience. But most people don't get that kind of opportunity very often in life. And if you have that, it is a really great time to explore who you are and what you're about and what really, really vibes with you. And I wish you the best of luck with that, because it can feel a little lonely and isolated at times, but really it's one of the greatest blessings you'll ever get. And you have the freedom right now to make a lot of choices about yourself that are going to affect the rest of your life. So, don't get too lost in the anxiety about it and just try things. Figure out what fits. So I think that's the best. I'm really on it today. I'm getting a lot out of these. So I really hope that was helpful and I'm not just rambling about a bunch of nonsense. We're gonna do another one. I may have to roll a cigarette on camera. I've been trying not to have to do that. I'm pretty quick at it though. But once I get these next cards laid out, I might try to get, if you got anything going on in your mind, try to think about your initials or any numbers that have been coming up while I'm doing this. And get it set in your mind, because here we go. 8. So 8. The number 8 represents the sphere of emotions, as we've talked about in one of these other videos. It's lessons that are learned from emotional energy, because your brain and your heart have 2 completely separate neuronets. They are, sort of engaged with each other, but they process very different types of information, and they process them in very different ways. So you can learn different lessons from listening to your emotional body and your emotional energy than you can from thinking about things or meditating. You can meditate on something all day, and it's not going to tell you the same thing that feeling something all day is going to tell you about it. So that's usually what 8 represents if it's something that's been coming up for you a lot. 8 can also, in like Western interpretations, be a sign of abundance or of manifestation of joy and fulfillment. So if you're doing well or you're feeling really good, you might start seeing the number 8 a lot. That's a thing that does come up. So if you have the number 8 coming up for you a lot, or you're resonating really strongly with that, or you have the initials H, Q, or Z, and I'm always surprised. I don't think that these numbers or letters are going to come up for people, and then I'll get like 5 or 6 messages about, hey, that totally seems like it was for me. I don't know how you do this for a whole audience when you're talking to just specifically my issues. I get that a lot, and it amazes me how this stuff can apply to so many people that there's almost got to be universal energies underneath it. So G, P, Y, or the number 8, this reading is for you. I'm almost done, guys. I'm letting this one run a little long. I'm sort of doing a memory test here, seeing what I can get away with. Uploading and shooting and recording. Still feeling my way through this process. So H, Q, Z, or the number 8. Your first card is the 6 of Pentacles. There is an idea you are working on bringing to fruition. Some kind of project or inspiration or some sort of ideology that you are modeling into your life. Something that you are... something that fires up your soul and has you very inspired and engaged in. It's really stoking that flame energy aspect of the self. And it's sort of your driving force recently. The 4 of Swords. This idea isn't ready to share yet, though. As much as you're fired up about it, you're not really ready to present it to other people. You're still kind of keeping it in your head or to yourself. You're holding back on your mental energy on this aspect. The Hermit, inverted. Put it out there. That couldn't be more clear about the message. Whatever this project is that you've been working over in your mind and you're feeling all fired up about, even though you have some reservations and you don't think that it's ready to put out to people, H, Q, Z, or the number 8, it's ready. Don't hide it anymore. The Hermit inverted could not be more clear. That put it out there, show it to the world. It is ready for glory. You are ready to present yourself to everyone, and everyone is going to receive it well. It's something that you've put the work into. Everyone else is going to be just as fired up about this as you are, and it's ready to show to the world. So whatever it is you've got to give, show us what you've got. That one's a pretty straightforward message. H, Q, Z, or the number 8. I don't really think there's a lot more I can say about that. Whatever it is that you're working on, put it out there. Publish it, produce it, show it to the world. It's ready to shine, and the time is now. The cards are very, very clear about that. It's an unusually specific message. Whatever it is that you've been working on, that you're all fired up, put it out there, and everybody else is going to feel it just as strongly as you. So I'm going to move on to the next one. I wish you the best of luck. H, Q, Z, or the number 8. We'll do one more of these because this is running long, and then we'll do a general reading real quick, and I'll call it a day. that'll probably wrap up my videos for this week, and I'll have a new batch for you guys out Monday. Saturday or Sunday, I'll get the weekly horoscope post up on my page. That's where I do the combination of like rune reading and lunar astrology and tarot, and sort of predict what the spiritual weather of the week is going to be like for everyone. So be sure to check that out. I put a ton of work into those. You guys have no idea. I'm sort of like, once again, doing a thing that nobody else is doing, especially with the lunar astrology and how that's going to affect the week. I haven't seen anyone else doing that, and I really feel like there's some good information there, and hopefully it's helpful to you guys. A lot of people tell me that they kind of depend on those every week, so be sure to check that out, because I really put my heart into it. If you have anything on your mind, or you're hoping you might come up in this reading, now is the time to sort of project those intentions towards the dice, and here we go. The number 1. So the number 1 represents the root of the tree of life. It's the source energy, the very first sphere, the one that is closest to the originating energy that creates all manifestation. So if you are seeing that, there's some really important things going on in your life around those times. The number 1 represents things that affect you specifically. Very powerful, like destiny type forces, things of fate, life lessons, that sort of thing, divine messages, life path type stuff. So that's usually a pretty heavy number if it's coming up. People usually will see it in groups like 11 or 111 or 1111, and those have specific sub meanings, different variations, but generally along those same lines. So if you're seeing that and you got some heavy stuff going on, hit me up for a reading and we can get into it and figure out what's going on for that. Or if you have the letters A, J, or S in your name, or the names of anyone in your life, or just anyone around you, or whatever, the number 1, the letters A, J, or S, this next reading is for you guys. The 8 of Wands inverted. So some conflicting energies here. There's the passionate, soulful energy of the suit of fire, but also mixed with inverted 8. So some negative emotional connotations to this. Maybe something that you've really put your heart and soul into and it's not working out, or something that's kind of disappointing. Maybe a relationship that is kind of souring at the moment, that sort of thing. The Queen of Wands inverted. So this is definitely a loss of passion for something, either a creative project, a spiritual belief system, something dealing with the soul, a really passionate, intense relationship or affair or fling or something like that. But it's lost its spark, whatever it is. It's no longer vibing with you the way that it did before, and it's not stoking the flames of your fire energy the way that it used to. You have the 7 of Pentacles. So seems like this is something that you're going to have to think about in a really practical manner, that it's whatever passion that you're losing for this, it may be due to like worldly concerns. You just don't have time to engage in this sort of thing anymore. There are other more important issues that need your attention. Usually 7 in the earth suits is like financial concerns, because that's something that everybody's worried about all the time, or just anxieties about like your physical world around you, like your living arrangements, your career, your financial situation, even things as mundane as like how you're going to eat every day sometimes can be a big enough concern to get in the way of other things and take away the time and energy that you need to really indulge in the things that fulfill your spirit, as opposed to fill your belly or your wallet. And it just seems like this is something you maybe have outgrown or don't have time for anymore, and that's okay. It's just important to acknowledge that it's not that this isn't something you don't want in your life anymore. It's just something you don't have room for on a mundane and practical level. So maybe it's time to sort of put it in the back seat or the back burner for now. You don't have to abandon anything. You can always just hit pause and come back to it later whenever you freed up the space in your life for it. So, nothing's over until you decide to just stop altogether. And it's okay to take breaks and take pauses and step away from things every once in a while to do something else, because that's just something that life requires. So, AJS, or the number 1, I wish you the best of luck with that. I think that's the best I can do with just these cards. This video is kind of running long, so we're going to do a quick general reading for everybody. Really glad that you guys are enjoying these random readings videos and the weekly horoscope posts that I do on Facebook and all of the love that I try to get back. I really enjoy doing this, and thank you guys so much for making that possible. That's the reason I try to put as much into these as I can. General reading, right? Don't need the dice. Sorry, it's been a long week. Alright, so for the general reading, our first card is the King of Wands, the completion of some kind of mental energy, a system of thought or a paradigm, a belief system. I use belief system for like fire or air because it's sort of a mixture of both. It can be like heartfelt, soulful beliefs, or like mental framework, rules of reality type beliefs, and it can sort of work for both energies. So this is just some kind of idea that's as much as it's gotten you fired up and inspired and something that you've put a lot of energy into, it's sort of naturally reached its conclusion. We have the Nine of Cups. So in the back of your mind, you're already feeling this. 9 represents the what would it be? Nezek, the sphere of the subconscious. And with the cups and the water suit attached to that, it sort of represents the nagging feeling about something, that little voice in the back of your head that whispers to you things that you know but you're not really ready to think about or talk about. And it's something that's already on your mind, that this has sort of come to its end and reached its conclusion, and maybe it's just time to acknowledge that, and that's what the cards are trying to tell you here. And we have the World inverted. So whatever this is that you've put your energy into and kind of come to its close, you're already kind of feeling that. And it seems like what the cards are suggesting with the World inverted is that it's time to shift your energy and your attention towards yourself for a while, instead of thinking about what's going on around you or putting energy out into the world or whatever this project or endeavor is. That it's time to do a little self-care, maybe some shadow work that usually comes hand in hand. Put yourself first for a little while and kind of make things about you instead of whatever this is. That it's you finished doing your part in whatever it was, and it's okay to move on now and make things about yourself. And you probably earned that if you've come to the conclusion of something that you've put a lot of work into. It's time to reward yourself for all of that effort and to sort of reap the benefits of your labor. And I feel like that's a good note to stop on. Take some time, guys, to take care of yourselves. Take a bubble bath, have a drink, smoke a cigarette if you enjoy that sort of thing. Whatever it is that you do that makes you feel a little happy and gives a little love back to yourself, do that. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let this one run a little bit long, so I'm going to call it a close here. Take care of yourself, guys. Treat yourselves a little bit. Do some things just for you. And, if you want to do a little something for me, buy a reading, throw me a few bucks as a donation, try to sort of facilitate keeping this going. This is like my best life. This is my dream. This is what I've always wanted to do, is something along these career lines. So whatever you can do to help make that possible is like literally making my dream come true, and it's something I've worked for my whole life, and it would mean the world to me. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter at Real Blind Seer, Blind Seer Official on Instagram. I'll put links down to everything in the descriptions. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. I'll give back any love that you guys give me, and I will put as much effort into this as you guys help give me the freedom to do. So thank you all so much for tuning in, for making all of this possible. Hit me up anywhere that you could find me. I make myself very available to the audience. I really want to, give back as much love as I can. I really appreciate you tuning in. Check me out on all my different accounts, and I hope to see you again next time. And I really hope this was helpful. Thanks, guys.